Hello viewers, welcome to our Facebook live session. Today we have with us our specialist, Dr. Vandana Gowdy, consultant obstetrics and gynecologist at Apollo Hospitals, Navi Mumbai. She comes with over 29 years of experience in OBG and her area of special interest lies in high-risk obstetrics, PCOS and infertility management. Welcome to our live session, Doctor.
Thank you.
Doctor, the topic for today's session is benefits and myths about breastfeeding. So the first question is, why is breastfeeding important for mother and baby?
Good evening, good afternoon viewers. It's very nice that we have a special breastfeeding week where we can discuss a very important aspect of mother and child health care. And as we know, the oldest saying that I was taught when I was doing my undergraduation also is breastfeeding is the best feeding, and it still holds true because there are so many benefits to breastfeeding for the mother and child. The most important thing we must realize is that the formula, the components of a breast milk are completely natural, and they are the recommended quantities of all the vitamins, all the proteins and all the fats that your child requires, and therefore it is the formula which is the best for your child. It has tremendous amount of benefits to the mother and the baby, and as we go along in this session we're going to discuss all of them.
So doctor, the second question is, what are the extended benefits of breastfeeding to a mother?
Yeah, so breastfeeding is, it's amazing. It's not only helpful to the child, it's also very, very healthy for the mother. Did you girls, ladies all know that, when you're breastfeeding, you're actually burning calories. So women who breastfeed are actually able to shed their pre-pregnancy weight or the amount of weight they gain during pregnancy faster because your metabolism increases. And I need to, make you guys understand that the important thing is that it's a complete myth that when you're breastfeeding, you need to drink a lot of milk so that the amount of milk you drink is going to come out of your breast. So don't overeat. Eat the right quantity. Your calorie requirement will be a slightly more than when you were pregnant, but it's not so much that your breast milk production depends on the amount of milk that you eat and the amount of food that you eat. But the other benefits are, the important benefits are that it gives you bonding with your child. It gives you time to, make eye contact and skin contact with your child. And in the long run, when you breastfeed, the breast glands, when, they are protected against breast cancers. Also, it has been found that women who breastfeed for longer periods of time, other genital cancers like ovarian cancers are held back, and you are less prone to genital cancers like ovarian cancers and breast cancers when you breastfeed your child.
So doctor, can you also explain the benefits for breastfeeding for a baby?
Oh yes, the amount of benefits that your child gets is, it's just incomparable as compared to a formula. Like I said initially, that the formula, the exact formulation is the best. But also imagine how easy it is to give breast milk. You don't have to sterilize bottles, you don't have to boil water, you don't have to buy the formula, so it's cheaper, it's healthier. Then it gives you skin to skin contact, so your entire body is covered with a layer of certain bacteria. These are your good bacteria. So these good bacteria are transferred from your body onto the child's skin, and it actually protects this child from infections. Also, one thing that can never be replicated in formula feed is the amount of antibodies that you transfer from your breast milk to the baby. So babies who have been breastfed have a higher antibody count than those who have been given the same amount of formula, and this protects them from a lot of childhood and adult illnesses. So children who are breastfed have less chances of respiratory infection, not only because of the antibodies which are transferred, but also because when you breastfeed your child, the position that you're holding your child in, it does not allow the milk to regurgitate back into the tube which connects the mouth to the ear. So respiratory infections are less, allergies are less, you're passing a lot of good nutrients to your child. So in all ways, your child is benefiting tremendously from being breastfed by you.
So doctor, during this COVID situation, if a mother is diagnosed or is a COVID positive, can she also continue breastfeed, and what are the precautions they need to take?
Yeah, it's a very interesting and relevant question for today's time. And so, we are seeing a lot of COVID positive mothers coming. So, COVID positive mothers are divided into two groups of women. One is those who have symptoms, and they have been accidentally discovered as, those who have no symptoms, I'm sorry, and they've been accidentally detected as COVID positive, and those who are really sick. Now, if you talk about women who are COVID positive but they do not have any symptoms, they've been accidentally discovered as positive, these women can definitely breastfeed their child because they're not really sick. But what you need to remember is any woman who is COVID positive has the possibility of transmitting the infection to the fetus to her baby when she has respiratory exchange of aerosols. So what you can breastfeed your child, but you need to wear a mask, you need to wash your hands. Very important to wash your hand before you touch your child. Also use a sanitizer to sanitize every area around you where this baby is going to be touching. After you have breastfed the child, you can hand over this child to a person who's not COVID positive. That person can burp the baby and then keep the baby around 6 feet distance from you. Now, the second group of women are those who are sick. So they are actually, they have fever, they have cough, they are breathless. Those women, it depends on the mother. If she still thinks she's able to breastfeed her child using the same precautions, she can continue. But we normally recommend that this really sick person, her viral load is much higher. So we recommend that you can express out your breast milk and send it across. Keep the child in another room and send the breast milk through, breast pump. This breast pump should be individual for each mother. Do not share the breast pump with anybody. Sterilize the breast pump well. And somebody who is, your relative who's not positive can breastfeed your child. Keep this child at least at a distance of 9 feet away and preferably in another room if you're really, really sick.
So doctor, if the baby has diarrhea or vomiting, so the mother should stop breastfeeding?
Yeah, so there are, there is this concern. So breast milk actually causes your infant's stools to be softer because there are certain, certain fats in the breast milk which cause your child to have slightly less formed stools. And in fact, the children who are on bottle feed and formula feed, they have harder stools. So first of all, we must distinguish whether it's really diarrhea or it's really just the normal number of stools. So there is something known as a gastrocolic reflex, which means every time the child eats something and it goes into the stomach, there is also a reflex of the colon, that is the large intestine, emptying itself. So typically, in the first few months or weeks of your child's birth life, your infant would be feeding, say, 10 to 12 times in a day, and therefore the number of stools that this child would pass would be 10 to 12. But I'm presuming we are not talking about this. We are talking about a diarrhea which is caused because of a sickness, maybe for whatever reason. One of the very common reasons for an infant to have diarrhea is this crazy thing we have in India where the woman who has delivered, she's just stuffed with high calorie foods. Everything has to have ghee, and there's sometimes a competition between mothers, how much ghee is they're going to give their child, the woman, the mother, and compared to some other community, whether I'm giving 1 kg of ghee in a month or 10 kgs, it's considered to be like a status symbol. Also the amount of dry fruits. So when you give so much of fat laden food to eat so much of fat laden food, it is going to lead to a diarrhea. So that's one. Sometimes it is just an intolerance to a certain sugar in the milk, natural sugar. So lactose intolerance sometimes happens, galactose intolerance happens. Your pediatrician will be the best person to answer this. And if your child's stools are very frequent, they are too watery, they are smelling, foul smelling, they are greenish in color, they are frothy, this would probably mean a child who has an infection or some problem with the breast milk. At such a time, it's nice to take your pediatrician's advice and decide whether you need to continue breastfeeding or not. But over the top of my head, there would be very few reasons where you would stop breastfeeding the child.
How can a mother increase her milk supply?
So, all mothers are scared. First time mothers are more scared. See, you can't quantify the amount of milk your breast is producing because it's formed and it goes straight into the baby's mouth and then into the stomach. So all new mothers, as far as I remember, are always worried, how do I know that I'm getting enough breast milk? And then, their care workers, even their malish wali bais, their family members will say, if you don't feel a heaviness in your breast all the time, it means probably you're not producing less milk. So first of all, decide whether you have sufficient milk. Remember, it's a natural body secretion. In the same way as nobody asks how much of saliva you are going to produce when you have to eat, say, 1 kg of food or half a kg of food. Your body knows. So your body knows how much of milk to produce. All women will have sufficient breast milk. Let me reassure you about that. The infant knows how much it needs, and the simplest way to know whether your child is getting enough milk is after breastfeeding for say 20-25 minutes on each side, the infant is able to sleep for about 2.5 hours peacefully between breastfeeding. And after the first 5 to 7 days in which the infant normally loses a little bit of weight, body weight, the baby is constantly gaining weight. So that way now you are having sufficient milk. But let's presume that you do have actually a deficiency in milk production. So what are the ways? So the important thing is stress plays a very big factor in reducing breast milk. Lack of sleep. No, lack of sleep वैसे ही हो रहा है. You're going to have to get up 2 or 3 times in the night, and during the day when you should be resting, probably you'll have hundreds of relatives dropping in to wish you and exclaim over the baby. So sleep well. Don't stress. Like I said, reassure yourself there is no woman who has less breast milk. Hydrate yourself well. I have this crazy kind of people coming and telling me that their malish wali bai told them drink less water because pet phuk jayega. So hydrate yourself well. This is all myths. The fourth thing is eat a balanced diet. Don't eat this high calorie, only that fat laden food. So if you're having a big bowl of shira in which there is like 4 tablespoons of ghee and 2 tablespoons of sugar and so much of dry fruit, this is going to kill your appetite for the rest of the day. And actually then what is going to happen is you're not getting all the nutrients you need. All the vitamins are lacking. So eat a well-balanced diet. Now there are traditionally certain food items which will increase your, so-called increase your breast milk. One of them is methi laddus. Now it's not just based on just some cultural thing. There is some science behind it. So methi is supposed to be one of the foods. Then drumsticks is supposed to be the second food. Sauf ke seeds are supposed to be other foods. And there are of course things like Ayurvedic products like Shatavari and things. So there are certain formulas which increase, so-called have a chance of increasing your breast milk. But it's not a blanket thing. Every woman is not supposed to eat all these things, because if you don't eat, you will not have milk. That myth has to be broken with your generation who's smart, well-read, and seen the world, read a lot on the net. You need to realize you don't necessarily take these things to increase your breast milk. The best way to increase your breast milk is to just enjoy the process.
So can you suggest for the mothers who are unsupportive of breastfeeding?
There's very few people who are unsupportive of breastfeeding, but the only little tips I can give you is see how breast milk works. When your infant latches onto the milk gland or to the breast, it suckles, and the suckling action stimulates breast milk production. But a lot of women are thinking the first 2 days I want to take rest. If you've had a normal delivery, you probably have some stitches on your perineum, and you are going to have some pain when you're sitting. If you've had a C-section, you're going to have a cut on your body that is going to lead to some pain. So some women are there who will say, let me first recover from my pain and then I will start breastfeeding my child. But what happens is your child has already got used to formula by then. Formula is sweeter, easy for the baby to suckle, and the baby doesn't have to do any effort. So then when you are ready to feed your child, the baby is not ready to suckle. So don't wait for that. Put your child on your breast immediately. The quicker the child is placed on the breast, whether it's a normal delivery or a C-section, the better will be the bonding between you, the better will be your recovery, the better will be the benefits to the child, and the more successful will be your breastfeeding. So don't get scared that drinking or kind of feeding your child is going to change your figure, it's going to make your breast sag. Please remember what I said, the benefits of breastfeeding to you and your child are so many that we would hope everybody does this.
So doctor, the last question, how will a mother know that the baby latches onto the breast properly?
Yeah, so again, that's like I said, new mothers are very concerned and they're not sure. So luckily in Apollo, we have a wonderful breastfeeding consultant and she shows us different positions. But in general, what you would know is when your infant has latched on nicely, both the lips are going to be outturned. So the upper lip is turned out, the lower lip is turned downwards. The entire nipple along with most of the areola is the dark brown part which is surrounding the nipple, will be in the infant's mouth. The baby is making, the cheeks are going inwards rhythmically, okay? And the baby is taking a few short breaks between suckling. Say the baby will suckle for say 20 seconds and then take a break for 1 or 2 seconds. Remember, the muscles of the baby will get tired. Okay, so you have several positions to have a successful latching. So the traditional position is the cradle position, in which the child's head lies on one of your arms. So if you're feeding from your left side, the baby is lying on the head of the baby is lying, and you're holding the whole infant against your body. And so this hand is then free, and you use your free hand to gently guide the nipple into the baby's mouth. And so same way when you're feeding on the other side. The second position is a very, very nice position, which is the football position. The football position, the baby is actually, you're holding the baby like a football. So the infant's head is here and the baby is all at the back. So you rest comfortably. The most important thing when you want to have a successful latching is you should be comfortable, because this is a 6 to 8 months, 9 months process. And if you are not sitting comfortably, you're going to end up with backache and not be a happy mother, and therefore you're not a successful, champion for breastfeeding. So hold the child in it, and if the baby cries for a few seconds, nothing is going to happen to your child. Okay, let the baby cry. Make yourself comfortable. Today, you have these U-shaped feeding pillows available. They're available on Amazon and most mother and child stores. So place that pillow around you, so you have support all around your body, and so you're not holding the entire weight of the body, of the fetus, the infant's body. And important is when you are, this kind of position is especially nice for a lady who's had a C-section, where she doesn't want the weight of the baby on her belly. So you hold the baby like a football. So the body of the child is this way, and you are supporting like a football, you're supporting the child under your arm, and then guide the baby to your breast. So there are several others, but these are the two most common. And even you can lie down and feed your child in the left side or the right side. Remember, when you lie down, especially when you're feeding your child early morning, say 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock feeding, and you're lying down and feeding, that's a little dangerous, because you might fall asleep. The baby falls asleep while breastfeeding, and the last bit of milk is left behind in the pocket in the mouth, and the baby doesn't swallow it and falls asleep. You have fallen asleep. You have not burped your child. Suddenly the baby may aspirate this milk, and when you wake up at say 7 o'clock in the morning, your baby is lying cold, blue. That is the worst thing. So if you're feeding your child lying down, a responsible person who's awake is sitting or standing over you to make sure that you have burped the child and not fallen asleep while breastfeeding. You should be fine.
Thank you, doctor, for joining this session. Dear viewers, if you have any question related to this topic, please drop your questions in the comment box and we'll address it to Dr. Vandana. Thank you, doctor.
We'll be happy to answer your questions.